Welcome to Chanakya, where you get the right guidance at the right time. We have a situation from Mani on onboarding a new team member. Let's explore this with our experts, JV and Anant. Welcome, JV and Anant.
Thank you, Vasu.
Mani is the Scrum Master for a team that works on an application for rewards management. His team comprises of 1 BA, 4 developers and 2 QA. One of the QA team members is moving on, separating from the team, and Mani has found an internal replacement candidate, Shakti. Shakti is very excited to work on this product as well as adopt Scrum. A week before she is to come on board, she sends a mail to Mani on her apprehensions related to fungible team members and full stack engineer. Shakti says that she is okay to foray into other areas to help, and in fact she has done so in her project so far based on the project needs. She wants to know if she will be expected to do coding, analysis, etc. She also emphasizes that she would like to focus on testing as that is her passion. In the last all hand meets, their director had talked about full stack engineer in the passing. She has set up a meet with Mani to clarify her doubts. Mani approaches you, the coach, to get some guidance, help on dealing with the situation. What would be your input, JV?
Okay, if I heard the situation right, there are two words that were mentioned that stuck for me. One is this fungible team members, and then the other term that was used was full stack engineers. Now, often these get used in an interchangeable kind of fashion. But let me take the definition of fungible from a role perspective. When I say, when we say fungibility from a role perspective, a dev playing a QA role or a QA playing the dev role. In this case, I would first want to know whether Shakti has the required, because she has come out with an apprehension to Mani. Does she have the required background or programming educational background, right? Like, for example, does she come from a computer science background or a programming background? Of course, looking at the apprehension that she has in this case, I believe that she doesn't have the programming background, right? But the second part is, does she have the required aptitude for development, right? I'm not talking about interest, but aptitude, right? That's an extremely important thing, because if she has the required aptitude, she'll be able to take up that role, in terms of programming somewhere down the line. So from Mani's perspective as the SM coach for the team, what he needs to look at is whether Shakti has the required aptitude for programming and development, because somewhere down the line, if not today, somewhere down the line, he would be able to expect Shakti to be able to take up a responsibility related to that, or at least part-time contribute in that role, right? That's an important thing for Mani to evaluate first.
Yeah, JV, that's good input for Mani to look at her aptitude and possibility of her moving to do such things in the future, if not today. Anand, would you like to add more to this?
Yeah, I think it's just one question I had, as JV was talking about it, that we talk about Mani and evaluating the aptitude, right? How can Mani evaluate someone's aptitude? Often people have difficulty. I look at someone and I don't know how to assess this person's aptitude.
Yeah, there are things that are unique to when you're a developer, coding skills. There are coding aptitude related things that you can gauge. Okay. Same thing is true with testing. There are
even like some aptitude tests.
Some aptitude tests that focus on, and you can actually gauge by problem solving. For example, given a problem, am I able to actually find a solution through development, right? Whereas the tester's aptitude will be given a situation, are you able to look at ways to actually test and break the product, to look at boundary conditions and et cetera, et cetera. So I think the thinking, mindset, aptitude, ability to problem solve, I think those are things that one needs to look for when you look at an aptitude for development.
So Mani can make a fair assessment
using that based on whatever he has observed, Shakti in terms of a role over a period of time.
See, you talked about the other term, the other apprehension she has is full stack engineer, right? Okay. The term gets used often, so that the development can actually be done by one person, right? May it be the front end, may it be the middle tier or the back end, whatever, right? Someone who can cover everything. So there are no communication overheads, it doesn't go from one person to another person to get the development done. So usually it's in that context, and often, what's happening these days is, we've added things like infrastructure related aspects to it, so that people know how to develop and deploy as well. So the stack is sort of growing. In any case, most managers these days, when they're looking at teams, they're looking at the teams to become self-organizing. Right? So in their mind, it is like we've got these goals to achieve and these are tasks to be done. Anyone should be able to pick up one and start going with it. So I'm looking at a task board. It's not about hey, you know what? I've got all these tasks, but none of those tasks look like I can do. So let me just wait, right? For a task I can do. So that's obviously not helpful in terms of focusing on the sprint goals and achieving it. So I think it is very important for Mani actually to educate Shakti on this sort of these kind of expectations.
Yeah, I think I've also seen, just related to that, I've seen one of the managers that I've worked with and often wonder, why are people making a big fuss about C++ versus working in Java. I'm a C++ programmer, I don't want to move into Java, or vice versa. So this big fuss made by people. So I think these are important things to, management really looks at these as small issues that developers raise when you're looking at an agile organization.
So there's a bit more education required there, yeah.
Yeah, actually, good point, JV. Good point, Anant, on what's a full stack engineer and how the management views it. You also made some good points on what's a fungible engineer. Now, how will Mani help Shakti adapt to this situation or expectation?
Now, the first thing is Shakti also mentioned, I think in your situation you mentioned about Shakti, having done some crossing of boundaries,
right.
Doing something else other than her core testing role in the past. Given that she has actually done it, it's important for her to understand that she can actually pick up some other skills related to development. For example, test automation or learning some scripting skills that will help her in the test automation side. Now, Mani can actually help her understand that that's the first step that she can do to get into some kind of development somewhere down the line, right? So that's the first task that Mani can potentially look at for Shakti to understand. Even from an organization perspective, the organizations typically take a few years, 2 years, 2.5 years, to actually get all teams to move into this so-called fungible full stack development, right? From being very specialized roles. It's a fairly long process. Now, because it's a long process, it provides a wonderful opportunity for Shakti, especially if she's interested, to actually foray into some of the development related thing, cross-skilling, so that she becomes a lot more valuable team member to the organization. Not that she needs to go away from testing, which is one of her main areas of expertise, but cross-skill herself in the process.
That's great inputs for Mani to get Shakti started on developing these skills, getting out of her comfort zone. You also made a good point about how long it is going to take for an organization to move to that kind of a situation where everybody is a full stack engineer. Anant, any more points from your perspective?
So I agree totally with JV that I think the best way Mani can actually serve Shakti is to help her get out of comfort zone. If anything else, I think that's, to me, that's the bottom line.
I agree.
And look, it is possible in spite of the best efforts. There are people who are not going to fit into that sort of cross-skill, multi. I mean, even if they are specialized in one role, they may still find it difficult to get out and then get in and do other things, right, in the project. Then in the case of Shakti, if you find out that is the case, maybe she could go into like an end-to-end testing, right, with a greater specialization in testing, and she may be more comfortable there. And I mean, the worst case, maybe they should just find a role in another organization where the expectations are different.
Yeah, most organizations have this. It's interesting that despite the fact that they work in an agile Scrum world, if you have a large product, an end-to-end testing is a mandatory requirement. So there is a small set of specialized people doing that role, primarily focusing on the functionality of the product. So maybe that's an opportunity for a QA, a test engineer, or even someone like Shakti if she doesn't feel comfortable.
Yeah, excellent points from both of you. So let me summarize. So Mani should evaluate if Shakti has the right aptitude for cross-skilling and upskilling, and at the same time help Shakti get out of her comfort zone and upskill herself. Mani should assure her that her expertise will continue to be valued, but her expertise should also expand, grow. Lastly, moving to a fungible full stack team is a long drawn process It requires the whole of the organization to work in a coordinated way, and it takes time. Thank you, JV and Anant. I am sure Scrum Masters like Mani will find these experiential insights very useful. Thank you.